It's just it's been a godsend for me. It's changed my life, and I'm not going back. I can't go back.
Richard, how did you find carnivore?
Well, Dave, thanks for having me on. My parents did Atkins in the 70s, and they lost a lot of weight. And anyway, so that was always kind of in the back of my mind. And I was always really thin as a kid, and then as time went on, when I got into my 30s, I had gained some unwanted pounds. And then in 98, I went on keto and I lost about 30 pounds. And, but I was still having back pain. And anyway, so I kind of yo-yoed on that and kind of went back and forth on keto for a while. And in 2008, I got cancer, and I'm in full remission now. But I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and anyway, so they give you a lot of steroids with chemotherapy just to keep you on your feet and keep you going. And so I ballooned up my heaviest. I was 248, and anyway, so I went on keto again after that between 2008 and 2011, and I went down to 190, and I was pretty fit then, and but I was still having a lot of back and hip pain then. I kind of yo-yoed back and forth over the years and would go up and down and go back on keto, and then I I kept having these reoccurring bouts of diverticulitis. And so last December, I was on antibiotics twice for 2 flare-ups. And in January, again, I was on antibiotics twice for 2 flare-ups. And anyway, I saw um, a couple things on YouTube. One was Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan, and I saw Dr. Ken Berry talking about diverticulitis, or mentioning diverticulitis, and that it may help, carnivore may help with that. And so on January 21st of this year, I just went straight carnivore. Just all basically all I've eaten since January 21st is the Ken Berry beef, butter, bacon, and eggs regimen. And so I usually eat about 3 or 4 eggs in the morning, usually 4 pieces of bacon, right around probably about a pound of hamburger for lunch. And I usually have a ribeye steak for dinner. And that's pretty much my diet. And so I've lost, I don't know, 41 pounds or something. So, but the biggest thing is that my back and hip pain are gone, because I'm a horseshoer, and I work bent over. I drive nails with my head below my butt. I mean, that's what I do for a living. And my back and hip pain are gone. And
That's awesome.
my diverticulitis is gone. I haven't had a single flare up since January. And I've had bleeding gums my whole life. And no matter if I went to the dentist or didn't go to the dentist, or if I brushed or flossed or whatever, my gums always bled, and that's completely gone. I can I can floss and make a mistake and go too deep, and my gums still don't bleed. And that's amazing. And so I think my oral care has just gone through the roof. And I was taking Tums all the time, and I was taking Prilosec all the time, and my heartburn is gone completely away. And I'm off my blood pressure medication. It's not where it needs to be quite yet, but for me, it's manageable. and I'm not taking and having the side effects of the blood pressure medication, but I'm still working on that. But I'm about 14 pounds from my goal weight. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck at 207, and I've been stuck at 207 for several months. But I feel good and I'm moving good, and I really enjoy this diet. And the reason I wanted to do this podcast is that I want people to know that if you have pain, there's a very strong likelihood that a carnivore diet can limit or negate your pain completely. You know, um, my sister suffers from rheumatoid arthritis, and I told her about it, and she started carnivore in July, and she's lost over 21 pounds since July, and her rheumatoid arthritis is a lot better than it was.
That's
So
fantastic.
she's having a few flare-ups still, but um, she's had rheumatoid arthritis for a long time, but she's doing better. I think it'll take her about a year for her to get over that completely. But I'm giving myself um, 2 full years to to get my blood pressure all the way down and get down to my goal weight. And but anyway, I'm just enjoying not being in pain. And
That's that's fantastic. So just on the you made me kind of giggle inside when you talked about the the gum disease or the bleeding gums. Um,
you related
so
to that?
yeah, yeah, very much so. So I've never been able to floss, right? Because of that reason, right? My teeth are so close together that when trying to get the floss in there, I ultimately always hit the gums, you know. And but prior to carnivore, the going to a hotel and staying in a hotel bathroom was like a war zone all the time, right? Because you
Yeah,
know how tough, you know how hard those toothbrushes are, right?
yeah,
And now it's like, I've been reborn for hotels now. I can actually use a toothbrush in a hotel and not have any blood. It's amazing.
yeah.
So have I mean, your results have been amazing. It hasn't even been a year yet. And you've had all these improvements. Your job must be a breeze now relative to what it was a year ago.
Yeah, I'm getting done an hour earlier every day. So I used to work from 8:30 to 2:30. I'm getting done easily by 1:30 now, so I don't hit it hard. I'm 60 years old. I don't hit it hard like I used to I've been shoeing horses 40 years, so I don't hit it hard like I did in my 20s. So kind of
Yeah.
spread that spread the load out over time, and I still get them all done. So
Do you having got rid of that pain, do you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, I just want to bend over to see if it still doesn't hurt? Kind of like, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again.
I do. Yeah, yeah, at least 3 or 4 days a week, I'm still, yeah, still shoeing horses. So yeah, it still doesn't hurt. And
Mm,
there's been times when I've been sore, when been body sore, and I've grabbed some ibuprofen or whatever, just, to get through some soreness. Because I just took 2 weeks off for Thanksgiving and went back east and visited relatives and stuff. And when I came back, I was pretty sore, but I'm fine now. I just got back into it, and but I had sciatica. I had sciatica shooting down the backs of my legs, and I had an MRI that showed I had spinal stenosis. But another thing I noticed in the MRI was that my abdomen was completely full of visceral fat. And I think by reducing the amount of visceral fat in and around my spinal cord has helped um, relieve the sciatica. And they wanted to do a surgery for spinal stenosis, basically, where they go inside your next, they go in through your vertebrae, and then they go in there with a Dremel tool and take out the arthritis away and grind it away from your spinal cord. And but I was just looking at my MRI, and I was noticing that all this visceral fat that I had. And so I wanted to try to get rid of that first to see if that helped. And I don't have sciatica pain going down into my legs anymore. My feet aren't numb anymore. So it's just it's been a godsend for me. It's changed my life, and I'm not going back. I can't go back, because if you look at statistically about people that have recurrent bouts of diverticulitis, like the Eagle, Glenn Fry, he basically died of complications from diverticulitis. And it can turn really bad and go septic. And so anyway, I just knew I had diverticula from body scans from when I had cancer. And they told me I needed to watch out for that, but they didn't tell me what I needed to do or what I needed to eat. But I think there's mainly two things that, um, like for instance, I think plants tend to stay in your bowel, and tend to stay in your bowel a long time, and they tend to rot in your colon. This is what I think for me personally, and it just takes too long for them to move through. I think meat and eggs, according to Ken Berry, by the time they leave your small intestine and work into your large intestine, they're pretty much digested, and it just moves on through. And I just really believe that. And so, like when I was doing keto, I still had the back pain, and I think it was from the plants. I think that in my body they were inflammatory, and so just doing the meat and the eggs and a lot of butter. But my pain is gone, and the diverticulitis has not flared up a single time. So
That's great. So you mentioned that you are off the blood pressure meds. Are you med free now?
well, my thyroid, I had 11 tumors in my neck, and so I had 16 rounds of 16 rounds of chemotherapy in 2008, and then 23 rounds of radiation. And so when they radiated my neck, they fried my thyroid. So I have to take the levothyroxine for the thyroid every day. So that's all I'm taking right now is just that. And
And
I take vitamin D once in a while.
right, did you find following the radiation and taking that medication, did you notice any kind of change, like I don't know, energy wise or anything like that, that maybe has improved since you went carnivore?
Um, I do have more energy now. I do have more energy. Um, I feel better now than I ever have in my life. I don't think I ever had from my body or my, I don't know, my own personal way of being. I don't think I ever ate the right food. I can remember being on the swim team when I was 8 years old and just getting lapped by the kids. These other kids could just outswim me, and it just never felt like I had very much stamina, and I would just poop out. I just never. But looking back on it, what was I eating? I was eating Cheerios with added sugar. And another thing for me too, I think drinking milk. I've always been a big milk drinker, and I'm not drinking any milk now at all. And I think that's another huge thing. I think the sugar in the milk is too much for my body. It just doesn't agree with me. So um, I don't think I was eating enough protein. And I think I was eating way too much sugar as a kid growing up, you know.
And when you're running on protein and fat, you everything changes for you, right? It just feels so different.
Yeah, I have way more focus now. I can just bear down and focus on my work and, just go to A to Z step by step and stay focused and get my work done. And it's just all a process that I go through. It's the same process, on every horse basically. And it's just way more focus. And I'm better with my scheduling and communication, and just I'm clearer mentally. I can feel that. And I had this doctor, and I went to regularly for a long time, and he was telling me that the carnivore diet was wrong, and that your brain runs on glucose. You got to have glucose for your brain. And I totally disagree with that. I think your brain runs on fat, and I'm way more clearer now than I was, running on glucose. And
Yeah. There's not many people that feel good running on glucose. It's I feel horrible like if I have a carb heavy diet, it feels great in the moment, but like minutes after you've eaten, you feel horrible.
I'm just feeling good, Dave. Feeling
Yeah.
good, and getting some results, and I basically do two things. I live on Clear Lake in Northern California, and so I'm either working. I I shoot show jumpers down in Napa, and so when I'm not doing that, I'm up here at Clear Lake fishing, and so I'm fishing better now too. I have much more stamina when I'm fishing, and that's my fun time, and I'll go from daylight till dark, and you're casting and running the boat and just being active all day, and sometimes those are my fast days because I'll get up really really early, not eat any breakfast, and then I'll get in about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening and go have a steak, and then I've done almost a 24-hour fast, and I really enjoy that because I don't really like to eat when I'm fishing, and I drink water a little bit, in between stops with the boat, but um, yeah, I kind of enjoy my fast days when I'm out fishing. So
Nice. And do those fish form part of your diet at some point as well?
there's too much mercury in Clear Lake, so it's mostly catch and release. So I do um, I do eat some of them every once in a while, but no, I'm just into fishing for the sport, and I do a little bit of competitive fishing, and so um, the winter time, the crappie start running, and it's easier to catch the crappie because they school up and they bunch up on on bait, and you can go out and catch the crappie. And I plan on eating some crappie this winter if I make it out there again, but probably won't get out there till next weekend.
Okay. Nice. And what's the weather like around this time of year? Like, is it pretty cold?
It's beautiful today. It was 73 today, and the wind's not blowing or anything. But over our rains come from basically November through April, and it can rain in October and it can rain in May, but generally it's November through April, and we had like 15 inches of rain in November, and ever since then it's been beautiful. It's just like 70 degrees, and it's a little chilly in the mornings. It gets down to about 38, but very seldom does it ever freeze here.
Oh yeah, nice, clear December days. Nice. Yeah,
Today was beautiful. It still is. The sun's still shining.
yeah, nice. So, just on your sister, that was good news as well that she's been able to start reversing her rheumatoid arthritis. Um, so is anyone else around you showed any interest, or do they kind of go, "Oh, this is a little bit weird," or what kind of feedback do you get?
Well, people just say, "Well, you look great," and then some people say, "Well, meat's really hard to digest." And I'm like, "Well, where did you hear that?" You
Not
know?
as hard as plants.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just thinking if one person can try it and get out of pain, it's worth doing this podcast for, I think, you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the weight loss is a bonus, but my back is pain free, and they wanted to. My hips were bone on bone. I assume they still are, but they don't hurt anymore. So hopefully, I'm growing some more cartilage in those hips, and I don't have to have a hip replacement. But um, my left hip was so bad, you know, after like a half a day's work, I was limping back and
Mm.
forth from my anvil over to the horse, back and forth. I was limping, and that went on for 20 years, Dave.
And
And
see, that's the amazing thing. You feel so much better, but if you'd had to have surgery, like you're never the same again after surgery, that kind of surgery, right?
right, I just avoid that knife as much as I can. You just those guys get in there and get it cutting on you. What if they're having a bad day? You know,
Yeah,
you don't know.
that's right.
You don't know. They
Yeah,
put your life
everyone
in.
has an off day.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't want my spinal cord reamed out with a Dremel tool very much at all. And they were like, that's the only thing that's going to work for you. And I just think that, if this gets more widely known and people experiment with it, and they can get off the sugar. I think sugar and wheat are poison in my body. I don't know about everybody else, but in my body, that's sugar and wheat are poison. And I grew up in Georgia in the southeast, and in Marietta, and my mom loves to make soul food, and so I'm like a turnip green junkie. I love turnip greens more than that's my favorite food. And I was down there for Thanksgiving, and she cooked a big pot of greens, and I did not eat them. I did not eat any greens because I just don't want to be in pain, and I don't want to have any more diverticulitis attacks. So
Yeah, and I can like, was it tough for you when when you were sitting there with them in front of you to kind of
no,
go,
I just
take it?
I just focused on turkey. My sister made this big old turkey, and there was plenty there, and I just got me a drumstick and a couple thighs and kind of focused on the fatty or dark meat, and I just ate turkey till I was full, and then got up and walked away. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Um, so if you were giving someone advice about getting started with carnivore, they've never done it before, they're about to try it for the first time, what would you tell them?
I'd say just go to the grocery store and buy a dozen eggs or 18 eggs, and go to Walmart and get some of those 75-25 fat hamburgers, and go to the butcher shop, a nice butcher shop that's kind of an old school butcher shops where I go, and they got the steaks all cut in the back there, and pick you out some nice steaks. And I think I'm actually saving money on carnivore because I'm not going to the doctor very much or hardly at all. I've only been like once to the doctor since April. I'm not on the medication anymore. I was always big for going out to eat, and so me by myself, because I'm not married. I my kids are grown. So if I go out by myself, it's at least $25 by the time you pay your tip and everything. So I can get a ribeye for $12 and eat that, and I'm saving half the money. So
It's yeah, actually, when you think about the eating out part, that's a big thing because you're much less likely to eat out as a carnivore, and you save a lot of money by not going out, right?
oh yeah, 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 at least
Yeah,
$100 a week.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no.
Eggs are easy to cook. I just browned some ground beef for lunch, and I had about a pound of that, and I'll probably have the other half. I bought 2 pounds today. I'll probably have the other half for dinner, and then I got a bunch of eggs in there and some bacon, and I'll have bacon and eggs in the morning, and I'll feel great. I'll have 4 eggs, and I'll be done working around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then I'll probably have some hamburger patties, and then I may or I may not have a ribeye in the evening. Sometimes I'm not hungry and I just skip it. I don't eat it in the evening. Or sometimes I'm not hungry at lunch and I'll skip lunch and then wait and have the ribeye later around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So um, I do eat some other steaks too. I really like prime rib, and I had a big 20-ounce prime rib the other day, and the waitress was teasing me. She didn't think I could eat it, and I ate it. It was good. And you know, but waitresses look at you weird, and you say, "Yeah, no toast, no potato, just the bacon and eggs," and they're like, "Are you sure? They cost the same." And I'm like, and then so lately I've been eating the steaks with no potato and no sides or anything, and I noticed that on my tickets lately they just been charging me for the steak a la carte. I haven't been having to pay for everything else. So I don't know if that's available everywhere, but and I didn't ask for it. They just started doing it. So
Maybe they see you, they recognize you, loyal customer. We'll keep him coming back.
yeah, well, I eat at a lot of the same places all the time because a lot of times I go just for the parking. If there's good parking at a restaurant, I'll tend to go there time and time again just because I can park my horseshoeing rig there. You know what I mean? Or my boat, one of the two. So I'm always pulling a trailer, whether it be my boat
Nice.
trailer or my horseshoeing trailer.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Richard, do you have a way of reaching out if anyone wants to get in contact?
Yeah. Uh, O for sure at gmail.com. And I have a YouTube channel, Richard Bumpus CJF. And I've got a video on there, a little short video. I've never made any money on YouTube, but I have a little short video on there of a horseshoe machine that I made and the video went viral in Pakistan, and it has 4 million views. So anyway,
In Pakistan.
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
that was fun.
No worries. So I'll link to your socials below, your YouTube channel and your email. Um Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, Richard. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me, and I do enjoy your show. I watch it almost every day.